The Sisters of Parvos are Corpus super soldiers that boast superior stats with powerful weapons. Sisters are mostly unique from one another with different personalities and names. The main reason for hunting a Sister of Parvos is for their Hound companions, and their advanced versions of Corpus weapons, also known as Tenet weapons. Tenet weapons have increased stats compared to the regular versions, and can have a bonus elemental damage type of your choosing, maxing at a 60% damage bonus that is calculated a part of the weapon's base damage. In addition, Tenet weapons are unique in that they go beyond the max rank of 30 and cap at rank 40, requiring 5 forma to hit max rank to count towards your personal mastery rank. Sisters of Parvos can also be converted or conquered into allies that can fight by your side after entering the bleeding out state. They can spawn in any mission, but only stay for 2 minutes. They can also be used as members of your Railjack if you so choose. You can even call them into any mission if they are set as your on-call crew member. Sisters also have a 20% chance to spawn with an ephemera based on the elemental bonus type or Progenitor Frame you start hunting your sister with. Sisters can also be traded to other players who are into collecting ephemeras, sigils, unique sisters, or who want to hunt them down for themselves for the sister's Tenet weapon. Hunting Sisters of Parvos can be considered endgame content and requires you to be further along in both your personal mastery rank and quest lines. It is also recommended you have a wide variety of upgraded mods and strong frames that either help with damage or survivability. Keep in mind that you can only have one active Sister of Parvos or Kuva Lich at a time. You cannot have both active if you are currently hunting one. To unlock the ability to start hunting Sisters of Parvos, you need to be at least Mastery Rank 5. Second, you need to have completed the quest The Second Dream. This quest can be unlocked by completing the Neptune Junction on Uranus. Once completed, it will allow you to start the Rising Tide questline, which will guide you on how to build your very own Railjack. You will need a Railjack for the final part in hunting your sister, and the Railjack will be needed for multiple questlines in the future. Fourth, complete the War Within questline, which can be unlocked by completing the Sedna Junction on Pluto. This quest is required to start hunting the Sister of Parvos, and also unlocks the ability to hunt Kuva Liches, the Grineer counterpart to the Sisters. Fifth, complete the Deadlock Protocol questline, which can be unlocked by completing the Saturn Junction on Jupiter. This questline will guide you into the Granum Void, which is a major mechanic in spawning a sister, and will reward you with the Exorus melee weapon. Do not sell this weapon. This weapon will be needed to efficiently complete the Granum Void and spawn a Sister of Parvos. If you have sold this weapon, you can obtain a copy of it from Cephalon Samaris, found in the Syndicate tab, for 145,000 Cephalon Samaris standing points. After finally completing the Deadlock Protocol quest, you unlock the quest Call of the Tempestari. Finishing this quest will now allow you to spawn Sister of Parvos and start hunting them. These quests don't need to be completed in this order, but for new players, I recommend this sequence to unlock the Sister of Parvos. If you are ever confused about the order of quest lines, visit the official Warframe wiki for more information. With all those quests completed, we now need to spawn a candidate in order to start hunting a Sister of Parvos. To spawn a candidate, we will need a Zenith Granum Crown. A Zenith Granum Crown will only be dropped on level 30 plus Corpus ship tile sets by an enemy known as the Treasurer. My go-to mission for spawning a Treasurer is Hydra on Pluto. I recommend setting yourself to solo for this. A Treasurer will spawn within 2 to 4 minutes of starting the mission, announcing themselves and displaying this icon. You will have 90 seconds to kill them, or else they will teleport out of the mission. Once killed, they will drop the Zenith Granum Crown. Only one of these Treasurers will spawn per mission. Once this crown is obtained, we can now enter the Granum Void. To enter the Granum Void, look for a Golden Hand statue, which will spawn on any Corpus ship tile set. The same mission you obtained the Zenith Granum Crown is guaranteed to have one of these golden statues. Eliminate all enemies nearby, then press your activate key on the statue, making sure to use your Zenith Granum Crown to enter the Tier 3 Granum Void. Once inside, you will have 1 minute to kill as many errant specters as possible. One efficient way of killing these specters is with your Exorus melee weapon you obtain from the Deadlock Protocol quest. This weapon doesn't need to be modded in any specific way, but I recommend at least attack speed so you can throw your weapon faster. Your goal is to kill at least 25 of these specters before the timer runs out to successfully spawn a candidate. If you hold your melee button, you will throw the Zorus. Then using your alternate fire, the Zorus will explode, causing massive damage to these specters within the Granum Void. This is why it is important to keep the Zorus for this specific mechanic. Once you've killed at least 25 specters and the timer runs out, you will spawn back on the Corpus ship. Within a couple of minutes, your candidate should spawn, indicated by this icon. Go to it and kill it. Once downed, you will notice a weapon icon above the candidate's head, indicating what Tenet weapon your Sister of Parvos will spawn with. Keep in mind that only one candidate will spawn per mission. If you are after a specific Tenet weapon, finish the mission without killing the candidate, and a new weapon will show up in the repeated mission after completing the Granum Void. Currently, there are a total of 10 Tenet weapons that will only show up once in the rotation. If you accidentally miss the weapon you are after, you will have to repeat the mission until your weapon finally appears again. Once you have determined the Tenet weapon you are after, you might want to consider what elemental bonus damage type you want on your weapon. Before you start your mission to kill a candidate, it is important to choose a frame based on the elemental type you want your Tenet weapon to have. This is known as a Progenitor Frame. Each frame fits into a category of elements that, when equipped and when killing the candidate, will determine the weapon's bonus elemental type. If you are unsure what Progenitor Frame to choose for your weapon, or you are just leveling these up for Mastery Rank purposes, it is almost a safe bet to choose any Toxin Frame for your elemental bonus type. If you are still unsure, ask around in chat, or look up builds for weapons on sites like overframe.gg and see what elemental bonus types people are using. For my purposes, I am after the Tenet Glaxian, and will be choosing a Magnetic Progenitor Frame as my elemental bonus type. For a quick recap to spawn a candidate, feel free to pause the video here. Once you have killed the candidate and finished the mission, you will be alerted that a Sister of Parvos is now activated. If you've already seen my previous video on hunting Kuva Liches, then you're probably familiar with the process for hunting a Sister of Parvos. It is essentially the same. You should have all the info you need from that video to dive right into hunting your sister efficiently. But if you haven't watched it yet, don't worry, I'll still cover the basics of hunting down a sister and share some best practices. Also feel free to check the description for chapter links if you're looking for specific details about sisters. Plus, there are a few unique aspects about sisters that I'll be diving into later in the video. Keep in mind that you can only have one active sister or Kuva Lich at a time. If you want a new sister or weapon, you have to go through the process of vanquishing or conquering your current sister or lich to start spawning new candidates. Another important note is that you only need to use your Progenitor Frame when killing the candidate and spawning your sister. Once you start hunting your sister, you can use whichever frame you want. With my sister spawned, we can now view information on our sister in the navigation console. This information tells us their level, with 1 being their weakest and 5 being their strongest, their name, the abilities they will use against us, their rage meter, which represents the possibility for them to spawn in a given mission, their weaknesses and resistances, both based on elemental damage types, the weapon they are carrying / we are hunting for, and their bonus elemental damage type from our chosen Progenitor Frame. If they have an Ephemera, which they have a 20% chance to spawn with one, it will show up cosmetically on our sister. My current sister does not have an Ephemera. Each sister is also guaranteed to be accompanied by a random Hound companion. There are a total of 3 Hounds you can get Mastery Rank for. Cosmetically, based on this Hound's head, we can assume it is one of these 3 Hound companions. I will cover Hounds later in the video. Before we explain Requiem attempts and modifying your Parzon, it is time to start progressing towards hunting your sister and filling out Requiem Murmurs. Your sister will now occupy a planet, indicated by a blue haze over the mission types or by controlled territory when you click the mission. These missions are similar to what you are used to, but with higher enemy levels and unique enemies called Hounds, which spawn periodically throughout your mission, indicated by this icon. When you complete missions in these controlled territories, your sister will steal a portion of your credits. Don't worry though, when you finally defeat your sister, you will get all your credits back. Killing Hounds and completing missions will make your sister angrier and angrier. Your sister starts off indifferent, making them less likely to spawn in a mission. The more Hounds you kill, the angrier your sister becomes until they are enraged, which increases their chance to spawn in a controlled territory mission. For now, continue killing Hounds to fill out your Requiem Murmurs. Each Hound you kill fills out your Requiem Murmurs, gradually revealing the Requiem mods you'll need to defeat your sister. When your sister spawns, it is not enough to just down them. you'll need the correct sequence of mods on your Parzon to defeat them. Completing a mission with a filled Murmur will reveal one of the 3 required Requiem mods. It's best to complete as many missions and kill as many Hounds as possible to discover all 3 mods. If you try to defeat your sister without the correct mods, it will significantly fill out your Murmur progress, but your sister will flee to another planet, reset their rage meter, and become 1 level stronger.
Son of a...
If you're struggling to defeat your sister, avoid attacking until you discover the right mods to prevent them from leveling up. You don't have to engage your sister if they spawn during a mission to complete it. If you're in a squad, you'll also get progress towards your Murmurs when your teammates kill Hounds. Additionally, if your teammate's sister spawns and they fail to defeat it with the correct mods, the progress counts for everyone. Murmurs are shared among squad mates, so playing in a squad speeds up the process. To get the Requiem mods needed to defeat your sister, you'll need to open Requiem Relics. There are 4 different relics, each with a chance to drop 1 reward, including the essential Requiem mods. To obtain these relics, you have several options. You can complete Kuva Siphon missions from the Alert tab for a 50% chance at a random relic, or do Kuva Flood missions for a guaranteed 100% drop of a random relic. Alternatively, killing Hounds in controlled territories offers a decent chance to drop these relics. Once you have a multitude of relics, you can start cracking them under the Void Fissures tab in Requiem Fissure missions. These missions work just like ordinary Void Fissure missions, and that the goal is to obtain 10 Void Fissures and complete your mission, allowing you to choose 1 reward from everybody's cracked relics. You have the ability to upgrade your Requiem relics before going into a mission using Void Traces. This will increase the likelihood that a Requiem mod will drop from your cracked relics, but you undoubtedly will get many relics, making it not necessary to upgrade them. If this all sounds like too much of a grind for you, you can alternatively buy the Requiem relics or the mods from the Warframe.market site or Ask in Trading Chat. You can trade with the existing Requiem mods you have, or with Platinum. Once you've discovered all 3 Requiem Murmurs and obtained the necessary mods, it's time to equip them on your Parzon. The Murmurs will tell you which mods are needed to defeat your sister, but not the correct order. Now, with all 3 mods, you'll need to experiment with different orders to find the right combination and defeat your sister. With your mods equipped on your Parzon, continue doing missions and killing Hounds until your sister spawns. Once your sister appears, attack them until their health is partially depleted, causing them to enter a down state. At this point, you'll be prompted to use your Parzon to check if your first Requiem mod is in the correct order. If it is not in the correct order, your sister will flee, gain 1 level, and reset their rage meter.
Son of a...
Remember, the highest level a sister can reach is rank 5, so try to discover all the Requiem mods before engaging with your sister to avoid this. The Active Sister tab will show your Requiem attempts, highlighting which mods are in the correct order and which ones are in the wrong order. If your mods are in the correct order, your sister will flee, but this will take you to the final stage of the hunt, where you'll face your sister in a Railjack mission to either conquer or vanquish them. Keep in mind, if your mods are successful, one of the 3 charges on the mods equipped to your Parzon will be used. Requiem mods have 3 charges, and once they're depleted, they'll become defiled and can no longer be used. You can visit the modding section on your ship to transmute defiled mods into a new Requiem mod. Additionally, after successfully making your sister flee with the correct mod sequence, you'll have a 25% chance to receive an Oull mod as a reward upon completing the mission. The Oull mod acts as a wild card, allowing you to use it in any slot in your Parzon for future sister or Kuva Lich hunts. However, keep in mind that you can only equip 1 Oull mod on your Parzon at a time. If you have all the right Requiem mods but are still struggling to kill your sister, here are some quick tips. First, remember that there isn't a single correct way to deal damage, so find what works best for you. Always try to mod your weapons based on your sister's specific weaknesses. If she isn't resistant to electricity, puncture, or magnetic status effects, consider using those elements, or a combination of them, since Corpus enemies are generally weak to them. While some weapons perform better than others, any properly modded weapon that suits your playstyle should be effective. Many players swear by high fire rate, high multi-shot weapons modded for crit, such as the Cedo. Others prefer more straightforward shotguns like the Heck, modded to boost base damage, multi-shot, and fire rate. Weapons with high critical chance like the Rubico Prime, Nell Prime, and Magnus Prime are also decent choices. Some favor fast-firing, high multi-shot weapons modded for crit, such as the Cycron or Mez's Regulators. If you have gun blades like the Stropha, Vastalok, or Redeemer Prime, they can quickly take care of your sister. For advanced players, properly modded Incarnate weapons are highly effective. It is important to note that sisters have damage attenuation, meaning they gain increased damage reduction based on the initial damage they take. However, this resets after a short time. As a result, high damage weapons like shotguns or snipers will deal a large burst of damage initially, but further shots will be less effective until the attenuation resets. While shotguns like the Heck might seem weak against sisters, I personally find them to work best for me, even if I have to wait briefly for the attenuation to reset. When it comes to Warframes, you can't go wrong with stealth-based options. Frames like Loki or Ivara, modded for increased stealth duration, will keep you out of harm's way, giving you free opportunities to land headshots on your sister. If you don't have those, the frame Rhino is a solid alternative. His Roar ability boosts damage, while his Iron Skin provides extra protection as you take down your sister. The Warframe Banshee is another great choice. Her Sonar ability highlights enemy weak spots, allowing you to deal massive damage. However, since Banshee has low health and armor, be sure to mod for survivability. If you want to make quick work of your sister, Meza is one of the best choices. Her Shooting Gallery increases damage, Shatter Shield provides defense, and Peacemaker makes locking onto your sister effortless. For players further along in their focus trees, Zenoric's Temporal Drag can slow down your sister's movements and attacks, giving you more time to land headshots. Ultimately, the best strategy is whatever works for you. Don't be afraid to experiment or switch things up. And if you're struggling, you can always ask for help in the recruitment channel. With your sister now retreating to the Railjack mission on Neptune, you'll need to ensure your Railjack is ready for the fight. Having decent components, armaments, and upgrades will make the mission smoother. However, if your Railjack isn't properly upgraded, don't worry, you can always join someone else's squad. Simply queue up for the mission and you'll usually be placed in a group where you can lie on the host Railjack. The only requirement to join this mission is having at least level 5 intrinsics in any one category for your Railjack. To level up your intrinsics, you'll need to complete earlier Railjack missions or join any crew through the Railjack star chart. The Railjack mission your sister is on is a standard skirmish objective, requiring you to defeat a set number of cruise ships and security nodes. Once that objective is completed, you and your squad mates will board the Corpus Pillar, where each player takes turns facing their sister of Parvos. Assist your fellow Tenno in defeating their sisters, then wait for yours to appear in the rotation. When it's your turn, start attacking and finish her off using your Parzon. You will now be presented with a choice to either convert or vanquish your sister. If you vanquish your sister and complete the mission, you will notice that you have recovered every credit your sister has stolen from you. When you return to your orbiter, you will find a message in your inbox informing you that a newly acquired Tenet weapon, a fully built Hound, and any ephemeras or sigils your sister had are now in your foundry. The only thing this message doesn't mention is that in addition to receiving the fully built Hound, you'll also receive a random Hound component blueprint. More on this later. With the weapon now in your equipment, you can see the elemental bonus percentage next to its name. Remember, the maximum percentage for an elemental bonus that a Tenet weapon can achieve is 60%. If you decide to vanquish another sister for the same Tenet weapon, you can perform a process called Valence Fusion. Valence Fusion is the act of fusing two of the same weapons together to increase the elemental damage bonus percentage. It also allows you to switch the elemental type of your weapon, based on the Progenitor Frame you use to spawn your sister. This gives you the option to choose which element you want on your weapon, but be sure to choose wisely. If you've already applied Formas or an Orokin Catalyst to your existing Tenet weapon and fuse it into the new weapon, you'll have to reapply Formas and a Catalyst and level it up from scratch. However, if you fuse the new weapon into the existing weapon, you'll keep all your upgrades. There's a helpful article on the Warframe wiki that breaks down how many times you'll need to fuse your weapons to reach the 60% elemental bonus damage. If you choose not to go through the process of Valence Fusion, you'll still have a powerful weapon at your disposal, especially when modded properly. To have your newly obtained Hound count towards your personal mastery rank, you must first level it to 30. However, simply reaching level 30 isn't enough. You'll also need to guild the Hound. Guilding is done through Legs, an NPC in Fortuna, but requires you to be rank 3 with the Solaris United Syndicate. If you need more details about Fortuna and its syndicates, check out my guide on this open world. Once your Hound reaches level 30, visit Legs and select the gilding option under Other Services. Gilding costs 10 training debt bonds and 5,000 Solaris United standing points, which you can earn from Orb Valence bounties. After gilding, you'll be prompted to choose a polarity slot and give your Hound a custom name. Keep in mind that this process resets your Hound's rank back to 0, meaning you'll need to level it up again for it to count towards your personal mastery rank. To create a custom Hound, you'll need to gather Hound component blueprints, which are obtained by vanquishing a sister of Parvos or by trading with other players. Vanquishing a sister guarantees one random Hound component blueprint. There are 4 components required to craft a custom Hound: the model, core, bracket, and stabilizer. Crafting these components generally requires resources from Warframe's open worlds and the star chart. For more details on what resources are needed, refer to the Warframe wiki. Once you have crafted all the components, visit Legs and select the Configure a Hound option. Here, you can assemble your Hound for 4,000 credits. For it to count towards your personal mastery rank, you'll need to level it to 30 and gild it, as explained earlier. Keep in mind that once a Hound is built, it cannot be disassembled to return its component parts. Additionally, only the model type and their weapons contribute to your personal mastery rank. Creating additional Hounds with the same model type will not grant you extra mastery rank. If you decide to conquer your sister, you will still recover all your stolen credits. Upon returning to your orbiter, you will receive a message from your converted sister, which includes their ephemera if they had it equipped, and any sigils they had. You can view your sister in your codex and choose to either keep them or try to sell them or trade them with other players. If you keep your sister, they will become an ally, having a random chance to appear in almost any mission after you're downed and self-revive, fighting alongside you to help. Additionally, if you are rank 8 in your Railjack's command intrinsics, your converted sister can serve as a crew member. However, using your sister as a crew member limits their role to defending your ship when invaded by enemy boarders. Unfortunately, they cannot pilot your Railjack, operate turrets, or repair your ship. For these tasks, I recommend just hiring crew members from the ticker on Fortuna. When you reach rank 9 in your Railjack's command intrinsics, you can set your converted sister as on call. She'll then appear as an item in your gear wheel, allowing you to summon her for assistance in any non-Railjack mission. If you decide to sell your converted sister, people typically buy them for their ephemeras, the Tenet weapon they have equipped, and their elemental bonus percentage. The reason for this is that once you sell a converted sister, it allows the buyer to hunt them down and vanquish them for a Tenet weapon with a high elemental bonus percentage. Additionally, some players collect converted sisters for their unique names, appearance, and any sigils they might have. If you are unsure what price to sell your sister for, you can look under the Contracts tab on the Warframe.market site to compare your sister to similar ones currently being listed. Once you've found a buyer or trader, invite them to your dojo and head to the Crimson Branch Room, which is the only location where you can trade sisters. Additionally, whether you choose to vanquish or convert your sister, both options have a 25% chance to reward you with a Requiem Ultimatum. This is a one-time use gear item that allows you to lure out a sister or Kuvalich you're hunting for in the future, regardless of their rage meter. This should cover everything about either vanquishing or converting your sister, but there are additional Tenet weapons you can get outside of the Sister of Parvos hunt. Ergo Glast, an NPC from the Perrin Sequence Syndicate, can be found on any relay. This NPC currently sells melee and spear gun Tenet weapons, which are exclusive to him. You can purchase these Tenet weapons for 40 corrupted hollow keys. Corrupted hollow keys are earned by completing Void Storm Railjack missions. These missions are similar to Void Fissure missions found on the star chart, but instead of cracking open relics on the star chart, you open relics during a Railjack mission while also having a chance to earn these hollow keys. Each Void Storm mission rewards a different amount of corrupted hollow keys, with higher level missions offering more. If you're specifically after these hollow keys, and your Railjack is decently upgraded, I recommend tackling Veil Proxima missions, which have a chance to reward up to 10 corrupted hollow keys upon completion. Once you have obtained the 40 corrupted hollow keys, you can bring them to Ergo and purchase one of his Tenet weapons. Keep in mind that each weapon comes with a random element bonus damage type and percentage. These elemental types and percentages change every 4 days. You can only buy one of each of these Tenet weapons per cycle. To see when Ergo's offerings will change, you can check the Warframe wiki for the schedule. If you want to change the elemental type or percentage of these Tenet weapons, you'll need to wait for Ergo's next cycle and hope that he offers the element and percentage you're looking for. At that point, you can perform a Valence fusion to apply it to your existing weapon. As of update 38, also known as the Warframe 1999 update, there are a total of 10 Tenet weapons that can be obtained by hunting Sister of Parvos, and 5 Tenet weapons available for purchase from Ergo Glast. This may change in future updates as more Tenet weapons are added to the game. Additionally, as of March 19, 2025, the Tech Rot Encore update introduced the infested equivalent of the Sisters of Parvos and Kuva Liches, known as the Technocyte Coda, along with their infested weapons, the Coda weapons. Alongside this update, a new item called Elemental Vice has been added to the NPC Eleanor in the Hulvania Mall. This item allows you to change the elemental type of your Tenet, Kuva, or Coda weapons once they are maxed out. However, it does not affect the elemental bonus percentage, meaning you'll still need to obtain an additional weapon and perform a Valence fusion to achieve a 60% elemental damage bonus. What this means is that if you bought a Tenet weapon from Ergo Glast and want to change the elemental type, you no longer need to farm additional corrupted hollow keys or wait for Ergo's weapon cycle every 4 days. Instead, you can purchase an elemental vice and switch the element directly. This might all sound daunting at first, but once you get into the rhythm of hunting Sisters of Parvos, it will become faster the more you do it. If you manage to get a few Oull Mods during the Requiem process, it can make hunting Sisters even quicker, as you only need to discover 2 out of the 3 Requiem mods. Tenet weapons are among the most powerful in the game, and the effort to acquire some or all of them is well worth it. I hope this guide has been helpful. Be sure to check the description for links to the wiki with more detailed information I may not have covered. If you found this useful, please like, share, and comment if you have any questions or want me to create more guides on other aspects of Warframe. Feel free to leave any constructive criticism or join me live on Twitch every Thursday and Sunday, where I can hang out with you and help you in real time. Thanks for watching and good luck.
And all the live long day and night, we just had steak dinner. We just had steak dinner, homie. You don't think those mashed potatoes had garlic in it? I don't want to lick her hole, you know? Do you see what I'm saying here? Do you see what I'm breaking down for you right now? Just think about it, okay?